I was accidentally invited to a secret serial killer club final round. The finish line is within my sight. Only one other person stands between me and the end. I have now killed 4 people to get here. I may not have been a serial killer to start, but now I am by definition. Even if I win, there is no going back to a normal life after this. I'm sure that's exactly what the organizers of this tournament wanted. There would be no break between round 5 and 6. After I received my congratulatory message for surviving round 5, I almost immediately received another message. This is what it read. The championship round begins now. You will be sent a new location. Travel there immediately. Upon arrival, please enter the building. Your phone will grant you access. We look forward to seeing you soon. This was odd. There had always been breaks between the rounds. I didn't have a problem with this, though. The sooner this was all over, the better. I couldn't help but wonder what would be in store for me. The new location was only a few hours away, so I wouldn't have to wonder for long about what would be next. My opponent had been clearly injured in the crash, so I had a bit of an advantage there, although my leg still wasn't at full capacity either. On the way to the final location, I was slowed down by a road crew. It was strange because they didn't seem to be working on anything. There were no other cars other than me waiting either. My progress was halted for about half of an hour before they finally let me proceed. It wasn't a huge deal, but my anxiousness made this stand out. Eventually, I did make it to the destination. It looked to be a storage-type building. I pulled up and approached the door. There was a slot next to the door that was exactly the size of my phone, so I placed my phone into it and the door opened. My phone seemed to have been taken by the mechanism, though. Fantastic. I took a deep breath and stepped inside. What the duck? I couldn't help but let these words slip out of my mouth as I stepped inside the building. In front of me was a table, and on that table there was a woman. She was strapped firmly to the table. There was another table next to her holding all kinds of tools and blades. I hadn't gotten a good look at her before, but I was pretty sure this had been the woman who had escaped from the crash. She still had fresh wounds. This added to my theory. But why was she here like this? What is going on? I asked seemingly no one. A voice from an intercom above began to blare. Welcome. We are pleased to see you have arrived. This is the championship round. The person in front of you is your opponent. She has accepted a deal to sacrifice herself in order to guarantee the safe release of her children. We will now offer you a deal as well. You can take her place on the table. We will not only guarantee the safety of your parents, but the woman in front of you will also be freed and be allowed to return to her children. Your other option is to claim victory now. You cannot just kill the woman. However, we expect to be entertained. You will be rewarded adequately as the first champion of our tournament. The choice is yours. Was this it? The conclusion of this all was in my hands. This was the first time, seemingly in months, that a choice had been up to me. I could not only save my parents, but I could save this woman and her children. In this sick and twisted story, I could still somewhat end up a hero. Was that what I really wanted? No, it wasn't. I had come this far. I wasn't going to settle for second place now. If they wanted a show, I would give them one. I approached the table containing the tools, and I picked up a pair of thin pliers. I then walked over to and stood in front of the woman. She was very much awake and aware of the situation. She had begun to cry as I stood in front of her. Duct tape was covering her mouth, so she couldn't be convinced to stop what I was about to do. I'm not going into detail into what I did to her, but I continued to make use of the tools on the table for quite some time. Eventually, I ran out of ideas, though. I hoped I had put on a good enough showing. I ended it by grabbing a large blade from the table and plunged it. After doing so, the intercom came back to life with another voice. Congratulations. You are our first ever serial killer showdown champion. You have outperformed our expectations in every round. We knew you would be perfect when we picked you for our tournament. If you still care, your parents will shortly be released to safety. We have also cleaned up every crime you have committed to this point and will clean the one in front of you now. You will find a handsome amount of funds in your bank account as well. The grand prize, however, is an invitation to join our team. We will be in contact with you shortly. We are certain we can make you an offer that you can't refuse. Until then, please feel free to relax and celebrate your victory. So that was it, huh? I had won. I was now officially a serial killer. Was that the plan from the beginning? To turn a normal person into something they could have never imagined becoming? Well, they had picked right. I was now exactly the monster they were looking for. I still have no clue who they are yet, but I will soon enough. I plan on accepting their offer. I can't return to my normal life anymore. I've done terrible things I never imagined myself doing. Worst of all, I began to enjoy it. If you receive a flash drive in the mail saying you were a contestant to the serial killer showdown, then from one competitor to another, I wish you luck.